Welcome back to Sonic Adventure 2 Battle.
Now in space!
Yeah, I mean, Sonic's technically been to space, but Sonic Adventure 2 definitely made a big deal
Does
of
that count
how
as
much
the,
of a big space adventure
yeah,
this
to be
would
fair, Sonic has been to space since the second game, so it's not really jumping the shark.
Doctor,
Nah.
they're heading directly
Although they
toward
do
us.
definitely
What
make
should
a
we
good
do?
sense of progression with it.
Just sit tight. There's no way they can get away.
Man, even with the bugs and balances, even the radio Eggman is barely audible. Where did Dean Bristol? Pig? What the fuck?
Yes, that's a cool little trick here.
That
If you
was
mash
pretty
A
rough.
during certain cutscenes,
it.
Big will
Let's
show
go,
up.
Yep.
Little thieves.
But no, I had to wonder, in what location did Dean Bristol record these lines?
Yeah, that's the weird part, because as we've seen various times throughout this cutscene,
Leave it to
Dean Bristol's audio recordings seem to be even worse than the other actors, and that's weird. Again, it's like Christopher Miller in Curious Village, where he sounds noticeably worse than Maria Dowling or Lana Minella.
It doesn't seem to be a problem of, the voice actor himself in this case. No, because there are also moments like the one we just had where he screams more.
The actors are not the problem. It's clearly the recording quality. Whoever handled the sound mixing in this game needs to be fucking fired.
I can only assume, basically...
Oh god, Sonic doesn't have eyes!
Look at his eyes.
That's for the record. That's actually in the original Dreamcast version too.
can't imagine.
That's how the game is, believe it or not. Go on.
Or for the
There's
later
the area.
example, Pedro, I think that might be because they were all doing it in like different locations. Like I know Maria Dowling was doing it in the UK.
Well, yeah, that is true. But supposedly, you'd think Miller and Minella would do it in the same place, right?
Yep.
streaming mechanism.
I mean, obviously, Maria Dowling's lines were recording in the UK, but.
You say something.
Imagine
So-
Eggman being betrayed by
actually-
creature
but no,
controls.
But no, if you emulate the Dreamcast original, and blow it up to 1080p to look very clear, Sonic's eye thing there is also in the Dreamcast version. So that's why it wasn't corrected. That's how it was in the original game. You could potentially. I think there's a mod that corrects that, but I don't think I bothered to get it.
You know,
Anyway.
I completely forgot that this part actually happens during the Team Dark section.
Yeah, be careful with this boss fight as Eggman. You can play around with him as Sonic. Eggman, you have to be careful for two reasons. One, because he is glitching, he acts a lot more erratic and actually acts quicker than against Sonic. And two, whereas Sonic can actually jump himself out of the quicksand, Eggman cannot. If he falls into quicksand, that's it, he's dead.
So Eggman has to destroy his own.
Fine,
Again,
I'll do it
imagine-
myself.
Imagine Eggman being betrayed by a creature he's controlling. Never happened before, and it's gonna never happen again.
At least this time he took the proactive route and decided after Perfect Chaos, nope, this time I'll have a means to take it out. And now you know why he has the zip lines down there, in case of an emergency like this. So the funny thing when you think about the sequence in the story, Team Dark are chasing after Team Hero, who are chasing after Team Dark to get to the Eclipse Cannon, but Team Dark is chasing after Team Hero to get the Chaos Emerald.
To use on the Eclipse Cannon, and yeah.
So when you think about it, everyone's
It's a-
chasing each other.
This story is basically a circle jerk when you get down to it.
You get the gold key, but in order to get the gold key, you need to get the silver key. But in order to get the silver key, you need to get the bronze key.
If only, no, because in the Knuckles and Rouge level you need to get 3 identical keys, and they all suck.
Hi, Doctor. How's it going? What? What do you mean they escaped? That's okay. I will go after them myself.
I mean, the egg golem wasn't.
Sure you will.
I mean, the egg golem.
Roja, how you're placing the cell phone around your ear with the earpiece that you have?
Time for the worst stage in the game.
Rude, you left your
It's
microphone.
now.
Oh.
Rude, you left your microphone on.
Yep.
Also, pay attention on the screen if I recall correctly in a second.
Heard that name somewhere before.
Where have I heard that name before?
Don't worry, Rouge. I'm sure it's not important.
Now rebooting.
This is it. Research Project Shadow.
Ah, that's a curious creature that you have on the background, but I'm sure it's not important.
Fun fact: the GameCube version of the game kind of screwed up the animation on that screen that she's looking at right now for a bit.
Oh,
And
God,
this
here we
kid right
go.
here.
I guess I'll just...
Rouge is legit her own worst enemy. By going after the Master Emerald Shards, she is pretty
Oh,
much...
here it is.
I will get to that, but by going after the Master Emerald Shards, she is essentially doing what Dr. Eggman told her to do, since this will put her in conflict with at least one of Team Heroes' operatives, so... Great job, Rouge. Great job.
These godforsaken
The mad in
stages.
mad space represents how I feel.
I wasted 40 goddamn minutes of my life on this fucking thing.
Okay, let's talk about it.
I decided not to play anymore.
This is widely agreed to be the worst treasure hunting stage ever in the game, and God, I got lucky with that Emerald Shard placement.
Really? Yeah.
That and you have the better radar to help you.
Well, okay, admittedly, I might have noticed that even with the gimped radar, because yeah, true, that was the second Emerald Shard. Okay, let's talk about why people hate Mad Space. Well, the one reason not to hate Mad Space, the awesome music. Definitely one of Tabitha Fair's best. Now, why do people hate this? Well, first off, let's talk about the gravity gimmicks. Now, admittedly, not inherently bad. They're cool when they work. The problem is, as you can imagine, you have to be careful of how you position it. Otherwise, you can find yourself falling off. And yes, I am checking around all these platforms just to make sure the Emerald Shard is not in one of these. Like, I
Not
will...
to mention, you may notice there's another artificial chaos.
Oh, yes.
Because the stage is not dickish enough already.
But wait. You want to talk dickish? The Emerald Hints, as Omochao is warning you. Yeah, they're in reverse. But wait, there's more. Some of them will actually lie to you.
Yeah.
Also,
And even in general, look at just by looking at this briefly, you may notice that this stage is gigantic.
Okay.
And for the worse.
So here's the thing. Meteor Herd is also big, but with Meteor Herd, you're just focusing on going up for the most part. This, you're going up and down and all around, and oh, this Emerald Shard. Okay, not there.
Where's that damn Emerald Shard?
Apparently not there.
Okay, see, notice how the subtitle on Omochao said, oh, the hints say the opposite thing. In the original non-modded version, he says, the voice acting still says the same. Detector readings are reversed. What do you mean detector readings? Do you mean the radar? But no, he doesn't mean the radar, he means the hints. So
Wait,
that's
if I
a
recall
mistranslation.
correctly, he actually says that the hints themselves are reversed vocally this time. Maybe that was a cut line. Oh, wait, so that was the right amount? Why? Yeah, whatever.
Well, whether it was or not, Jova, the truth of the matter is that in the vanilla version of this game, he says detector readings are reversed, which, okay, by detector readings, that kind of implies that he's talking about the radar, not the hints. So, man, what a mistranslation there.
But yeah, Meteor Herd I can take because you're focusing mainly on going up. With Mad Space, you're going all over. And don't get me wrong, the gravity gimmicks are pretty cool. And they're not screwing you over, but Jesus. Even with the better radar, I was legit worried.
Fucking hell.
And yes, the final Emerald Shard was in an artificial chaos, because why not?
Because when
The stage didn't need to be this big. Also, 3 minutes. Wow, if only.
Shiroi, if it helps you, Super Mario Galaxy took this concept and made a great game, a fantastic game based on this concept. So play that.
Nintendo does what Sega doesn't? I don't know.
Oh, no, actually, the logo they had back then was Nintendo is what Genesis is.
Okay.
Okay.
That's a good one. Pure Emerald. Talking to you is a waste of time.
No, you see, Genesis does what Nintendo don't.
Those Master Emeralds. Give them to me.
That delivery. I have to wonder what Scott Trader was told when he said that line.
Like, come on, man.
Like, it's the way he delivers it. Hand over those Master Emeralds. Give them to me. Like, the delivery is significantly different than his usual delivery in the rest of this game. I have to wonder, what was he told?
Now witness my power. Take this.
Personally, whenever it comes to this boss fight, I have an easier time fighting Knuckles than Rouge, if only because Thunder Arrow feels much easier to dodge than Black Wave.
Also, yeah, was I mentioned what he's basically doing all this time with this?
casting Thunder Arrow. It's a move you can use in the 2-player matches with the treasure hunters.
But no, it's like Jova has been saying, like, when you actually take a look at the behind the scenes of how the localization for this game was made, the fact that the voice acting is still enjoyable as it is kind of a miracle.
You know what? I attribute this a lot to Lanny Manila's fantastic voice direction, because normally we would blame voice direction for the weird deliveries, but no, now we know that was executive manhandling on the voice acting of all things.
Manila basically fought with Naka, and as she said, maybe that's why she was fired. How dare you question me? I'm never wrong. I'm Yuji Naka.
I don't think she was fired, but she did say that they referred to her as a tough director to work with.
Right. By tough director, they mean she wasn't a slave.
Hooray! Knuckles is dead.
Congratulations, Team Dark! You have killed one of the heroes.
Well, I mean...
Oh, and now in
this
this cutscene, Knuckles has his gadgets on.
I mean, they got rid of everyone else as well as that in the after.
Yeah, the sexual tension is literally palpable.
The audio from that scene can be so easily taken out of context.
I mean...
Even the situation when you get down to it, because Rouge and Knuckles' quote-unquote relationship is just dissolved.
We're gonna pull the you're attacking a lady card.
This is...
Rouge.
Yeah, but she would, though.
And she
would. Well, okay, and to her credit, she's exhausted from the fight, so that's why she can't just flap her wings out of danger there.
I'm more baffled by the fact that she randomly trips like that. It's more baffling, especially if you won the fight with Rouge against Knuckles. It's like, oh, you fought, now you still fuck over.
Also, I'm sorry, but it seems that one of Rumiko Takahashi's scripts got mixed in with the story here.
You're such a creep.
Like, holy cow, these two are written like a Takahashi couple.
Saving the Master Emerald.
I ship these two.
Oh yeah, and apparently now even the officials do too, if one of Ian Flynn's Bumblecasts is anything to go by.
Fine, then just take them. They stink like a kidney.
Right. Is everyone a fucking Sundar in this game?
Are you a high schooler? Huh. They stink just like you. Okay, I don't want your emerald. It has your cooties all over it.
Finally.
You know, this is funny when we get to hear what Rouge says during her version of the boss fight.
If I hurt you.
Aww. What a gentleman.
Have you seen Bros?
I saw that smile, Rouge. Got something else you're hunting after?
Maybe you should have left him his number or something, I don't know.
Meanwhile, back at the pyramid...
Angel Arm doesn't have a call center.
This is strange.
I know, anyway.
Two separate Chaos Emeralds.
Little do they know that I have my own Dragon Radar or Emerald.
Oh, I forgot. Sorry me, I forgot. Eggman actually did caught them with the cameras. I did forgot about these details.
The time to end this long drawn out battle. Mark myself a place in history as the ultimate genius.
Alright then.
If something happens to me, I'm counting on you to finish the job.
You know, it's really a good thing that Shadow, when you really get down to it, never betrays Eggman, because Eggman is putting a weird amount of trust on him.
Oh wait, this bit.
What?
This time I can't lose.
He means it, by the way. Eggman is absolutely dead serious in this level and that sequence. Like, he is set to have Shadow carry on the work if he dies. And speaking of which, why don't we follow up the worst treasure hunting stage with what is widely agreed to be the best mech state in the game, Cosmic Wall, because look at it, you can fly!
Yeah, basically, as a result, it adds a whole new layer of you know, tricks and exploration and speedrun tricks you can create. Again, very similar to why I wanted this Sonic Adventure 1 Spin Dash to make it to, you know, remain in this game. You know, to give that you know, speedrunning feel that the classic games were known for.
I feel like I'm able to pull that up with Adventure 2 Spin Dash, but alas.
Oh yeah, you are, but not to the extent of Adventure 1 though.
Anyway though, yes, this stage is incredible. The caveat is this has quite possibly the highest requirement of points needed to get an A rank. The good news is that if Tails' final stage was about pacifism, this is about dominating everything in your way, because for a lot of people, this stage was their first A rank as kids, because this stage is essentially a shooting gallery. How much of a shooting gallery? You can make the artificial chaos pretty much bow to your whim with how the stage positions them. There are a few blind sides from them, but for the most part, it's happy hunting. Let's put the ancient melody there.
As for, just to comment on something that Teo said, well, remember, Teo, we know from the last story that the twist is that Shadow's just using him. So as long as Eggman keeps doing everything according to Shadow's plan, he doesn't care what he does.
You know, that's kind of the sad thing about this version of Team Dark. Despite them being arguably the more coordinated team of the two, when you get down to it, the most honest person on that team was flipping Dr. Eggman. Since Rouge was pretty much playing everyone from the get-go, Shadow's playing for the final gambit, which is pretty much going to kill them all. Eggman was arguably the most sane person on that team.
The person who blew up the moon.
Well, this is a trio of villains, so that kind of tracks.
Which does lead to what some people have considered. That despite the fact that Shadow is the speed counterpart of this team, a lot of people argue that Eggman is actually the main character of this route, whereas obviously Sonic is the main character of the hero route. Eggman has a lot of things in common with Sonic. Like Sonic, he holds the most amount of stages in his route. He pretty much calls the shots, and funnily enough, he and Sonic are the two heroes from each route that share the Egg Golem boss fight. In fact, they are also the characters who show up at the ends of their respective routes. Which almost makes me wish that, you know, for Team Dark's ending, they actually played Eggman's theme instead of Shadow's for the credits. Like, I get why they did, you know, since technically Shadow does get the final boss, but you could argue that this is Eggman's stage. But yeah, I've talked about why I hate Mad Space. Let me talk about how I love Cosmic Brawl, starting with, once again, the soundtrack. Yeah, again, one thing we haven't talked as much about, you'll notice that each character has a musical motif for their levels. As we've noticed, Rouge gets a lot of the jazz, Knuckles gets the hard raps, Sonic gets the energetic guitar solos, Shadow gets the industry and digital sounding rock with some techno, Tails gets the high beats, and Eggman has an interesting level of grunge, and yes, these sections are absolutely integral to get as much points as you can.
This particular track is called Soarin' Over the Space. It was composed by Jun Senoi.
Leave it to Jun Senoi to make an awesome track for playing as Eggman. Granted...
No. Don't you remember the memo at the SSMB, Joe? We're not allowed to like Jun Senoi anymore now, apparently.
Wasn't that years ago?
Now remember, especially now with Sonic Superstars, the people that particular mentality came back again, sadly.
It'd be like me saying,
oh, god damn it.
Yeah, like I said, there's like 1 or 2 bits where they can sadly still blindside you.
It'd be like if I said, wait, James Horner's score for Commander was a bit shit. Well, fuck him then.
Yeah, exactly. No, trust me, dude. It's not even a matter of it's a matter of just being, reasonable. Like, for example, I'm like one of the biggest Jun Senoi fans you can find out there, but even I will tell you, please stop making Jun make classic music. He's better at making modern game music, please.
You got Tommy Otani for that.
Not just that, you can get Nofumi Ataya to do it. Nofumi Ataya is a fucking master at that. Get him to do it.
Wait, I
don't know if he was too busy or whatever, but why couldn't he do the whole soundtrack?
Well, give me a moment, Shirai. Well, remember, Joe, Nofumi Ataya did the classic mixes for Generations. There was also Mariko Namba, who's one of the more underappreciated members of the Sega Sound team in the 2000s, but she also left. Trust me, Shiro. I also wish for Thiago to also do the entirety of the music in Super Sonic. Okay. There's a very strong reason to. Sorry. We have a very strong reason to believe, Shiro, that apparently there was. There were some issues with the development of the soundtrack, because remember, when the game was first being shown off, they were using Sonic 4 music as a placeholder for some reason. And we now know, thanks to data mining the game, that apparently a lot of Thiago's tracks have different versions there that use Jun Sunue's Sonic 4 synths, right? Which basically lets credence to the belief that apparently all the tracks were going to have the Sonic 4 synth, but Thiago and the other Sonic team composers came about to help out at the last minute or something.
Going back to what Pedro mentioned about the speedrunning here, believe it or not, they actually do intend you to make good use of the flying. How much so? You can actually go off track to find the gold bug in this stage. So yeah, no, the developers knew that by giving you the power flight, there was a lot to test. Which, when you think about it, Eggman soaring makes sense, since this is, in a way, his ascent to true villain status. As you'll see in the following cutscenes to come as well.
Jova, he's just a bumbling, overweight guy with a mustache. What's the worst he could do?
Yes, let's see. Awaken a demonic...
I mean, he just blew up the moon, huh?
He also awakened a demonic water god, managed to mechanize and control a Time Lord, essentially. That's just a few things off the list.
Was also the time where he actually did man.
Yeah, and they all betray. And they all betray him at the end, of course. So.
The Time Eater surprisingly didn't betray Eggman.
Yeah, no.
I know too. In fact, when Roger made his Generations parody, he even did aha, this is the Time Eater. I'm sure he will not betray me. I'm sure he will in no way betray me. Then he looks back, huh? Is that betraying me?
Yeah.
So even Eggman is surprised that the Time Eater didn't betray him.
And to give Sonic Lost World credit, while Vizetti did technically betray him, that was only because Sonic broke their hold over him, to be fair.
Also, to an extent, I guess Infinite did not betray him.
True, yeah.
No, but honestly, I get the feeling if given the opportunity, he would have.
I don't know, granted, Infinite had a good moment of time while Sonic was in prison for all those months to betray Eggman. Oh, here we go. Oh, that's cute! Eggman gets to do his first ever loop-de-loop!
Gotta go fast indeed.
Consider it your initiation to being playable. Everyone's gotta do a loop in this series, Eggman.
And Eggman never did a loop-de-loop.
You know what we need? You know what we need, Jova? Playing as Eggman on foot in Green Hill.
This is why he never did a loop-de-loop again. That experience messed with his head.
Boy, the art
maybe that's how he got kidnapped. Maybe that's how he got kidnapped in Sonic Heroes. His head was still spinning.
Boy, the art just had all kinds of defenses, which makes me wonder, actually. The scientists must have had a ball getting around if the architecture is anything to go by.
But how are they still working this well after 50 years?
I mean,
It's just that good.
It's just that good.
Highly advanced tech and all that. Even if it was 50 years ago. Granted, Shadow the Hedgehog does imply it's falling apart.
Sweet little innocent girl like me alone.
Well.
Amy, you did barely jack shit in this game.
Also, don't let that giant scope fool you. That's a legit piece Eggman is holding. Yeah, no, Shadow the Hedgehog wasn't the first time we saw realistic guns, people.
It's Eggman with a gun.
Yep, he literally has Eggman.
And then Shadow's like, hang on, you're alright with him having a gun, but not me.
See, the thing is, in my opinion at least, like, it's not even so much about the guns themselves. It's more so the way the game, the way the game poses itself tone-wise that makes people react that way.
Here we go.
I'm also a bit too-minded. Like, I kind of wish Tails was the one taken hostage after a fight, meaning me say, oh, Megman manages to destroy his mech and then in the account point. Amy really did almost nothing in this game, and now she's put as a damsel in distress so Sonic can be put in this situation.
She gets her role later on in last story, but yeah. I mean, yeah, it shows since she's also a speed type, so save for the multiplayer.
Remember, Amy was designed in Sonic C to be the Minnie Mouse to Sonic's Mickey Mouse, and in a lot of the older cartoons.
Oh, here we go.
Usually.
So, how did you know it wasn't the real one?
Because you just told me, Fox.
There it is.
Go now.
What's also great is that, as we all know, he already knew, but he just did it just so he could rub it in Tails' face.
Yeah, basically.
That's so great.
Are you sure that was the intent? Because I thought Eggman just tricked Tails into revealing it.
Yeah. Okay, my
We
take.
saw it previous in that scene, where he noticed the 2 emeralds via his radar in the pyramid. We saw that.
Granted,
And even it blatantly mentioned, oh, they thought they could trick me with a fake one.
Granted, he knows that
And Sonic died.
Yep. In just a matter of a few seconds, Eggman killed Sonic, has Amy on her knees sobbing, and pretty much has Tails questioning his life choices.
I mean, you can trust a megalomaniacal scientist. Who can you trust?
First time to do something for him. I
Really?
won't let him
9 years after your debut, this is the first time Sonic's asked you for something.
Well, I think he means in terms of I'm counting on you for this thing.
And now it's time to trash Tails again.
Yep, and this time do it more despairingly. Now, to Twitch's credit, Eggman knew that there was a fake emerald. He didn't know which of the emeralds was the fake one. That taunt he made was him essentially testing. Yes, okay. Now, whereas last time you can play around with the mech boss, not so much here. Kill them before they kill you. That said, it is...
Well, that is true, Joe, but at the same time, Sonic going, you've turned into a big-time villain, and willingly going there to give him the emerald, like, that probably gave Eggman all the info
just a
he
regular
needs.
hedgehog after all.
You know, my pod didn't explode when I went
Yes,
down.
a
Skill
regular-
issue.
Shadow was too cool to even look at the explosion.
Yes, Shadow, a regular hedgehog that can run really
6 of them.
fast
They're mine.
and
Oh,
can't
my.
swim.
I don't think so.
Shadow.
So that was your plan from the very beginning. Or was it a direct order from the president?
Surprise!
Now I know who you are. You're that government spy, Rouge the Bat, aren't you?
Okay,
What about it?
You know, in hindsight, I probably should have introduced myself
I
with a
can say
different
the
name.
same thing about you.
I'm
Looks like things
Rouge
aren't
the Rat.
going your way. But since my job was done,
I mean, in that
I thought it was
Pakistani
time to
commercial.
Yeah, I
yeah.
was gonna say the
Get out of this
Pakistan
place.
One pathetic creature.
I love that line. You are one
What about
pathetic.
you?
God, Shadow is so cool.
Here are the results of the research project called the Ultimate Life Form. But if this
Again with that
is
weird
of the
photo.
real Ultimate Life Form,
Oh.
then exactly who or
Look,
what
okay, that was just me before my weight loss surgery.
Some weight loss.
This is Dr. Eggman. I have found all 7
What should be the 7th?
He's just gloating.
Eclipse cannon. There's not much time left before the
He does that
Oh,
often.
this part is just all of the best stages, I
You want to
guess.
leave the
I
chaos emeralds
I
where they
particularly
are.
love
Fake
Shadow's
is
line
good enough.
delivery.
do you actually believe that you're the real Shadow?
No
Even
doubt.
your memories might not be real, you know?
Even if my memories
Yeah,
are not
for those who think that the whole Shadow had problems with his memory thing started in Heroes, nope, that also technically was the thing as early as Adventure
the
2.
only thing that matters to me now.
What was that promise, Shadow? Delivering the
Oh
pizza?
boy.
Okay, now
Final
Final Chase is not as bad as...
Well, this is not Final Rush 2.
Yeah,
Final Chase.
Final Chase
Well,
is... It's actually, yeah, no, Final Chase is actually not the worst, believe it or not.
Isn't it still chock full of grind rails?
Not nearly as much as Final Rush.
Not so much. This one is more about the green platforms, like these ones here. This is the primary gimmick.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
More gravity, essentially. Because we're in space, yo!
Exactly.
And enough practice will make you be able to pretty much ace this with relative ease, provided you don't die. Because, yeah, you gotta be careful not to fall. One thing I said...
Yeah, just don't die.
Oh, yeah.
Fall off here.
Especially not here, because believe it or not, if you fall, they have an animation for the characters burning up upon re-entry in this game.
Well, Pedro, this game's voice cast being the same as Heroes, should you be using a more Heroes voice line?
Sure. You want some more?
No, not
that
that
good?
one.
Anyway, back to the point with the previous cutscene. To Dwibs' credit, Eggman knew there was a fake emerald, but he wasn't sure which one was the real one, so that way of pretty much calling out for the fake emerald was him essentially baiting Tails to pretty much remove any doubt from his mind, essentially. Since, for all he knew, Sonic could have been the one with the real Chaos Emerald, and Tails might have been holding the fake one as a backup. Yes, artificial chaos do be annoying that way.
Trust me, too, they're way more annoying in Shadow the Hedgehog because of that one infamous
Oh,
level that everybody
I
hates.
might have encountered them, but I don't even remember. Like you said, I don't even know exactly what route I took. I might remember if I see the levels myself because of the layout I remember. But I remember I basically quit at the level where, you know, everything is falling down and you're from platform to platform.
Well, that's Cosmic Fall you're thinking of.
Yeah, well, Till, whether you actually reach the last story and finish the story proper when you play that
Like
game?
you said, Pedro, I really just tried one route and I quit at that level that I mentioned. No
Also-
thanks.
Well, that's fair. Go on.
I can't wait till we get to Shadow the Hedgehog because I've met Takashi Izuku. He's a very pleasant fellow.
Yes.
But he should not be allowed anywhere near a script.
I mean, I feel like Azuka can write. It's just, look, Shadow the Hedgehog was what happened when you let a Shadow fanboy write for Shadow. I like Azuka. I think he is capable of great things. In fact, he is capable of great things. Remember, he's the director of this game. One of the most beloved Sonic games, and for over a decade was considered the holy grail of Sonic. Like, legit was considered the best before it started to get more scrutiny. So, he is capable of greatness. He's also one of the main reasons that we got a new Knights game. Shadow the Hedgehog, though. Okay, I want you to imagine, dear audience, what would happen if a studio actually listened to the fan letters from kids who wanted the favorite characters of your favorite kids show to wield guns, and the madmen actually say yes to it. That is Shadow the Hedgehog in a nutshell.
That and we know from more recent interviews of Izuka that it was also inspired by Jack 2.
Oh, and I will give Shadow the Hedgehog credit. Unlike Jak 2, it kept the identity of the franchise relatively intact because the tone actually feels on point. Also, I love how if you use these gravity mechanics just right, you can absolutely ace this level.
Sonic says damn, so it wasn't for lack of trying about
and remember,
trying to make a
Dwibs,
different tone.
that was the debut of the 4Kids cast in the video games, with them swearing up a storm.
Does the grind rail have the wobbling sound effect?
Oh, that's basically the boosters that I'm going through with that.
Yeah, trust me, when we get to my Shadow the Hedgehog run, I'm definitely going to talk a lot about how inconsistent Black Doom is. Like, where if you betray him and do the hero mission, in the next level he's just gonna be there. Hey, I think Roger's parody said best. Shadow, who are you talking to? So even Roger's fired you from being the traitor. Here's your next mission.
Going up! And yeah, once again, the music is an absolute bop for this stage. I prefer Final Rush's tune and overall, but yeah, no, this one's also a good song.
Let me see, this song was... I have my song on the soundtrack. Good one, Bibbs. That's airtight. No one can possibly deny that one.
Yeah.
I'm only spitting facts here. I think the only time I've ever played this game was for a little bit on the PS3 version. Although someone did, I think it was Deji. I think he gifted me SA2 on Steam, mainly so I can have a go on the mods and specifically that randomizer mod, where you can make a story. Where you can make a story that only makes slightly less sense than this one.
Okay, this track is called Supernatural. It's composed by Fumiko Matani and performed by Everett Bradley.
Oh, Fumiko, yeah.
Ultimate victory.
Yeah.
Alright, here we go. One last showdown with the Dark Route.
Outside the space.
Oh, their keyboard's louder than mine.
How is Shadow not suffocating?
That's because they're replicating the typewriter effect,
Cease to surprise me, Blue Hedgehog.
How's Shadow not suffocating
I
out
thought
there?
that capsule you were in.
He's too cool, please, goddammit.
You know what can I say? I die hard.
So, there's more to you than just looking like me. What are you?
We can hear this cutscene now.
You just hate me because I'm right.
I'm Sonic the Hedgehog.
I didn't ask your name.
I see.
Actually, he did.
I just hate you in general. You mean
Your
in general?
adventuring days are coming to an end.
Shut up.
Alright.
Okay then.
Welcome to one of the few boss fights where you can actually farm rings for lives.
I also just love that if you're playing on Team Dark, Sonic just pops here out of nowhere and you don't know how he got here.
Yes,
Especially
yes.
if you're playing, especially if you're using the action remap mod as well, so use the Y button / triangle button for the rings because that way it's much easier.
And yeah, now Sonic can use Chaos Control. We know from, Team Hero story why he's able to do it, but, if you're just playing first, the Team Dark missions, you don't even know that.
You
Well,
know...
that's kind of the whole point, that's a mystery that I'm going to find out how when I get to the hero story. That's kind of
True, but I do wonder if the devs intended for you to play in a specific order nonetheless.
No. I mean, they allow you to play any which way. In fact, believe it or not, they actually did make 2 different after-credit scenes based off of which mode you finished first. Which is funny, because the one I'll be showing is the one that less people saw back in the day. Because most people actually finished the Team Hero story first. But yeah, honestly, I kind of do like doing the Team Dark version first because, for all intents and purposes, they don't even hint at it. Like, as far as you know, Sonic was dead. He's back now, time to kill him. Which will lead to one thing where I do believe on how the story canonically goes, but I'm gonna save that for Team Hero's ending. And yes, if you time it right, you can actually light speed dash into your enemy, too.
This is what in FPS terms the kids call it telefragging, as in literally taking advantage of defensing your teleportation device either for you or for the enemy and actually hit them in that precise instant.
Anyway, remember too, like I said before, originally Shigeru Arakawa wrote this as just one long story. The whole Hero and Dark thing was done later in development.
Oh, by the way, just to recall, when you beat Tails, his dying words are, "Forgive me, Sonic." Right as Eggman pretty much teabags on him. And yeah, like I said, it's Eggman at the end of it, having won and victorious.
Eggman, question. When you blow up the Earth, where exactly are you going to build your new empire?
Yeah.
Okay, again, to be fair, one thing people misunderstand is that Eggman wants the cannon charged up so he can use it as a deterrent more so, not to actually destroy the world, though.
Yeah, I get it, game. It says danger.
Eggman, you should probably read that,
He's too contemplating, gloating.
He will, essentially.
And it just ends.
Well, yeah, stay tuned. There will be some stuff after the credits, of course.
Obviously.
But yeah, like I said, interesting enough, they do show off Shadow's theme, which I guess fair enough, since this is probably the only time in game you'll actually get to hear Shadow's tune enough to get to hear the lyrics. because most time in games, his theme basically plays the relatively long intro without lyrics, which, to be fair, does work, but yeah. His tune is known as Throw It All Away. I view Shadow's themes the same way I view his different voice actors as different eras of his being. Like, Throw Away is essentially Shadow at his most dark and depressing when you get down to it, willing to throw pretty much everything away for the sake of what he deems to be right. Later you'll get amnesic and determined Shadow, essentially, with stuff like, I am all of me, essentially.
And then, for all away, it's all about, again, adhering to the core philosophy of writing a compelling villain, that villains don't think they're evil, they think they're doing something for a just cause in their mind.
Which, yes, as you can imagine, Shadow was a big hit as a rival. This would be a hit that Sonic Team would later try to replicate in Sonic 06 with Silver, and I'm pretty sure you all know how that turned out.
With a roundhouse kick, yes.
I was checking out Sachiko Kawamura's Sega Retro profile because she did the Chow stuff for this game. She's still with Sega to this day, and she's now the main art director for the series.
She's the producer. She was the producer of Frontiers, in fact.
Nice.
Since Izuka now has been kicked up even higher up the food chain, Sachiko Kawamura is now the producer of the modern games, apparently.
Izuka's got to be one of those rare examples of how sometimes a promotion ain't the best thing.
More was still at Sega. But for me, it's one of those things where I think Izuka's at his best when he's being a lead game designer, operating reporting only to the director above him. Like this is a case like this in Sonic 3 and Knuckles, where he's the lead game designer of that game, right below Hirokazu Yasuhara as the director. Same thing in Nights into Dreams, where he was the lead game designer, operating, answering only to Oshima, who was the director of that.
And you gotta remember, he is the director of the adventure games, still to this day some of the most beloved Sonic titles in spite of their age.
The military's top-secret weapon, Project Shadow, was stolen from the military base located on
Next time on Sonic Adventure 2.
This incident increased worldwide terrorist activities. Sonic the Hedgehog was arrested. The adventure for truth leads to the incidents that shock the entire world. The story takes our hero Sonic from the Earth and into outer space. Sonic Adventure 2, Hero Side Story. Farewell, Sonic. Forever.
Well, there you go, guys. This is it. The end for Sonic.
Cut to that clip of Johnny in his review where he goes and he looks at all of his collection of Sonic games.
All right.
After this.
Okay, so a bit of an explanation here. In Sonic Adventure 2, when you're playing routes for the first time and finish them, depending on which route you did first, essentially, you would get a preview side for the other side. However, upon completing the other side, instead of getting, the preview for that team, you would then get a preview for Last Story, which is still the case, basically, since on this save file, I have already beaten these stories, essentially. Normally, they would just give the preview for Last Story. But I figured, why not try and make this like a native first-time performance, and I basically edited in the hero side story. Which, fun fact, it's easier to find the hero side story online because, well, ironically, back in the day, more people played the hero side first, so most knew what the dark side preview was like. Ergo, the hero side story became the more archived one because less people knew what that was like, so the novelty of putting it on YouTube and whatnot was more frequent, essentially. But yeah, again, keep in mind, as far as they knew, this was going to be the last Sonic game, so when that guy says, "Farewell, Sonic, forever," he kinda meant it. And besides, guys, we've all seen from the Dark Side story that even if Sonic survives that capsule, Shadow's going to kill him, so that's it. Game over.
Sure. Alright, see you for the next part.
See you then.
See ya.